All right, let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it. Wait, why did fuck do you want me to go up and around? It's weird to me. All right, so wanted to talk to my people real quick. Put this on both channels because I thought that it would be prudent to talk to all of the guys, um, not just those on TSP. And if you haven't followed or subscribed, you fucking up. But I want to talk to people on DEG as well because I know that a lot of you young men, and I use that term loosely, we've got struggles as men in modern day society. And I had a discussion with somebody that I value very, very much, and it prompted this little conversation that we're having here today. So this will be left up on both channels. So the importance of public perception, public image for men. First, I'm going to start by saying that it is very different for men and women. Women have to guard their personal, their public image. Women have to uh, figure that out for themselves, but they're on different timelines than us men, and the different behaviors that women engage in have positive and negative consequences in different ways. Um, but I want to talk about us men. So earlier today, I found myself doing something that I do increasingly less frequently, and that's hopping on Facebook or Zuckbook, or however you want to look at it. I did a little bit of scrolling. I think I know what happened. I got on Facebook because one of my friend's account has been hacked and has been spitting out the same spam. I don't even know if he even uses that shit anymore, but spitting out the same fucking spam. And just like, I don't want to be a part of the spam or spreading it. So, let me get this tag off. And then I got suckered into scrolling a little bit. It's my fault. And I see a post from somebody that is like a brother to me, like one of the closest friends I have on this planet. And, he's got a situation with a woman that's less than ideal. And there was just something about the post that made me get out of Facebook. Got up out of Facebook, and I went, to go, hit him up, and be like, "Yo, I got to talk to you, bro." So, a little bit of backstory. It was an abusive relationship where, the woman was the abuser. Two kids in the deal. Um, and if the person can't get him, or if that person cannot contribute in some way to physical abuse, she's going to try other means of making her presence felt in a negative way, because she thrives on negativity. And change this drive mode right quick. Yeah. So she thrives on negativity. She thrives on harming people. And he wasn't in his proper masculine frame, so he allowed that to happen to him. But fast forward some years later, and I just noticed this post. Noticed this post today. And I thought to myself, if I did not know any better, I would have thought that it was a ratchet woman that put this post up there. Shout out to Blind Bat. Good to see you. Um, Mrs. Evil, you can cut in at any point, of course. Mrs. Evil, Mrs. Evil is here.
I'm here for the ride.
Yep, she's here for the ride.
Groceries.
And, the ride is for groceries. And I looked at it and was like, this looks like a ratchet female post. I was like, yo, my guy is putting out a public image that is self-sabotaging. I need to hit him up. All right. Now, Mrs. Evil can confirm this. This is probably one of the, like, if anybody had any questions about good men, if there are any out there, he definitely fits the bill of a good man. Okay. He always tries to do the right thing by people. He always shows people the proper respect. He always brings positive energy. But I notice when I see him on social media, either it's a fun post, or he's posting about this woman in a negative fashion. And I had to really put all this together and say, you know what? This is not how I want other people to see it. And I had to make it very clear to him that it's really important for him to understand that the people that know him, the people that love him, that they understand him. They look at that post and they feel the pain. But most people, especially on social media, they don't have any idea of who you are, so they can only pick up on the message you're sending out. So if you are talking negative about a woman in your past, two things are happening. Number one, men and women are losing respect for you for the same reasons in different ways. And number two, uh, you're showing that you don't have the control over your own emotions, and that a woman is the one that holds the cards when it comes to your behavior, your expression of emotions. And one of the things I had to tell him is that we don't live in a society where men can afford to express themselves honestly on an emotional level. I mean, it's getting to the point where men cannot talk about things honestly on an intellectual level, since certain elements of society has deemed that um, facts don't matter, but certain people's feelings matter. Only certain people. So, listen, guy, the message that you're sending to men is that you're not in control of your emotions, and that you are weak by letting this woman run the show. And then, somewhat more importantly, any woman that you've been attracted to that may have been attracted to you is looking at you like you're a drama magnet, that you're the female in the relationship, that you don't have control over your emotions, that she runs you. You look like less of a man. And then there's the other group of people who you think are your friends, but they're not. They look at what's going on in your life and they see this positive post or this funny post. They may put a laugh react on it. They may say, ha ha, very funny. But what they're really waiting for is for you to complain about that woman. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to step outside of your frame to provide them entertainment. You may get a whole bunch of well wishes and this and that, but in reality, they just wanted to keep it going. They want to keep this shit going. They want to keep this shit going so that you can continue to provide them hours of fun, of reveling in your misery. There are a lot of different signals that you're putting out there that you may not be aware of. You may go to social media and think, yo, I'm gonna rip this bitch a new one because she's doing this and she's doing that. Nice little Ferrari. I think it's a California T. It's a little bit too busy. Looks a little bit like a little bit of Toyota styling in front, but it's all right.
Car ADD right now.
What up, worst Twitcher one? How you doing? All right, so it's important to understand that when you go out into the world, you may be intending to promote a certain image of yourself, but many times we end up promoting something completely different. You may think that you're talking about how horrible this woman is in this particular case, but that is not the message that is being received by other people. The men are looking at you like, wow, this is a weak nigga. And the women are looking at you like, wow, my pussy just dried up. Because women are not attracted to that. And that's one of the things that, since I've kind of, or we here at the Talking Shit podcast have kind of entered that manosphere space. It's one of the things that I've kind of figured out is that although we do live in a in a society that really does not hold women accountable at all, um, it really doesn't matter because the public perception of men who complain about women is always going to be bad. And it doesn't matter if what you're saying is true. It doesn't matter if what you're saying is justified. It does not matter. Public perception will dictate. Public, public perception will dictate that if you are airing out your grievances about a woman or women in general, you are going to be looked at as less than. I didn't make the rules. Is it fucked up? Absolutely. Absolutely fucked up. But these are one of the double standards that works against men. If women complain about men, they get victim points. If men complain about women, well, man up. And it is not to say that, a person like myself thinks that you're weak or less than. That's just the way the world works. The world expects women to express themselves honestly about what they're thinking and feeling. In our society, um, in our society, men are expected to do something about their issues. And if you're not going to do something about your issues, nobody wants to hear about it. But you notice that when women air out their issues, it's national news, it's front page news. It's everybody's um it's everybody's top priority, right? We need to solve this problem. Um, if a woman says that there is an issue in society, we need to get on it. But if a man says, hey, we've got some real issues, you hate women. Hey, we've got some real grievances or some real concerns about, mental health, personal safety, whatever it is. We're not really allowed to speak on those things. So, without taking a massive hit to our public image. And, in the past, I used to just say whatever. I used to say whatever I thought and felt. And my father would tell me that, anytime you give people information, you give them power. And I'm thinking, I don't, what's true is true. If people know it, who gives a fuck, right? But a lot of that really doesn't actually have to do with the information that people have on you. It's the fact that people see you as open. If a woman is open, she's in her proper feminine. If a man is open, that means that he's a target for attack. Men and women are not the same, no matter what feminism tells you. Men and women are not the same. And when men and women engage in similar behaviors, the perceptions of those behaviors are not the same. Blind Bat here says it's weird. People make you think you're weak when you walk away, but that's not true. That's when you take back your power. As long as you stay in abusive relationships, you are powerless. He also goes on to say, when a man cries, he's weak. When he stands up, he's abusive. It's what it is. If a man cries, he's weak. If he stands up, he's weak. I mean, we've seen, especially in the black community, if a black man leaves an abusive woman, oh, he's weak. He couldn't handle a strong black woman. I'm not a fucking zookeeper. If I was a zookeeper, then I would do some handling. But I'm not a zookeeper, so I don't wish to handle another human being. Go fuck yourself. It's a different conversation. But I say that to say that, let me put a little bit more gas in this so I can exit. I say that to say that, you know, anything that you do that is not, assertive or aggressive, you're gonna take some hits to your public image, and either you need to accept that or you need to try to swing the odds in your favor. And some of the things that I've learned is you keep things secretive not because you have things to hide, but because how you choose to move through the world actually changes how people treat you. And when people treat you different, your opportunities are different. If people see me moving in silence, then they're going to have a little bit more respect for, where I stand. And if they have a little bit more respect for where I stand, the chances of them attacking to try to harm me are going to be less. And the chances I might get opportunities to enrich myself and my family go up. I've seen a lot from my friends, and I see a lot of the things that they're going through, and a lot of what they're going through has to do squarely with the perception that both men and women have of them, their public perception. And these are guys, big, strong guys, hardworking guys. They do their very best to be the best men, but the signals that they're giving out to people are not confidence inspiring in their manhood, if that makes any sense to you. So, I let my brother know, like, listen, you can't be out here talking about that woman, and I use different words, but you cannot be out here talking about that woman in a derogatory way, because even the people that understand what you're going through are going to look down upon you. And there could be a woman that might have been attracted to you, but she sees how you carry on social media, and now she's not interested. So in his case, I said, listen, you need to post the fun stuff, post you doing what you're supposed to do as a man, taking care of your kids. And this goes beyond child support. This is actually being a father to your kids, spending time with your kids, focusing on your kids, doing everything you can for your kids, showing where you're enjoying life. Every now and again, damn, another 12-hour shift on the grind. Man, I'm picking up this education to make myself more marketable to employers, or to be able to start my own business. And now people are looking at what you're looking to achieve instead of looking at what you're complaining about. Shout out to Ryan Fry. It would have been nice if you would have showed up during the stream, because I went on an epic rant about Angela Hill getting fucked over again. And let me tell you, it ain't just my girl, it's her girl too.
Showing there's a Instagram account that tracks like all the MMA bullshit, and they were seeing an estimate of how much fighters lose or miss out on pay wise when they get fucked over like that.
Oh yeah, you get a show and you get a win, and it's usually equal.
So if we add up all of her split decision losses, how much fucking money is that?
Definitely in the six figures. Definitely in the six figures.
And even if we say, for argument's sake, that half of that was really she should have won, just for shits and giggles.
And the thing is, everybody thought, yeah, most people thought that she won all four of those fights, that she lost split decision.
I think the figure they gave is about 72,000.
No, I think she's lost more than that.
Times that? No, I mean per.
Oh, per?
Times 4.
But not only that, her record is now 13-10, right?
Yeah.
If you give her 4 more wins and 4 less losses, right? Now she's 17-6. Now she's looking at fighting for a title. That's even more money lost.
Yes.
But we'll get into some MMA talk after we address the topic. I want to get into the topic, and then we can talk about other things. So it's important for us men to understand, again, the messages that you think you're sending out may not be the messages that are received. Less complaint and more solution seeking. Been a real change in my life. I used to look at all of the things that could go wrong. And you know what that does? It leaves me accomplishing zero. Zero gets accomplished. And people think you're a chump. So it's not that zero was accomplished, less than zero was accomplished, because now you are being moved further and further away from success. When men see you whining, complaining about women, they're not saying, you know what? Let me collaborate with him on some professional shit. I think we could make some money together. No, they see you as a fucking liability. Men are not, looking at it like, wow, man, like he's really going through it, unless they're going through it. If a man is going through something similar to you, he'll recognize it. But most men are looking at you like, yo, what are you going to do about it? So, in the famous words of my dad, don't talk about it, be about it. If you're not going to do something about it, I don't want to hear it. and the thing is, it's funny. Both men and women view men that way, but neither men nor women view women that way. It's fucking insane. But that's the reality. And you can whine and cry all you want, which kind of goes to my point, but it's not going to change reality. So you need to do something assertive to change the reality, because nobody wants to fucking hear it. Nobody. So that's why it's so important to be solution oriented rather than obstacle oriented. What steps can you take to change your reality if you don't like your reality? And it's completely on you. And we all have the power to make our lives more of what we want. We all have that power. It's just that, women can rely on, society or a man to help them get there. We men, we don't have that. We have society working against us. And a lot of women these days are waiting at the finish line for the winner. I don't have women like that in my life, but there are a lot of women who think. So you're gonna have to go out there and get it, and there's just no escaping that. And you can fear that reality, or you can go out there and take it as a challenge, and go and get what you believe belongs to you. And over here on TSP, we're rooting for you. We're not rooting against you. We're not hoping that you fail. Do a video roasting you. We want to see you win, fellas. Mrs. Eva over here wants to see you win. Captain Paul wants to see you win, but he'll settle for roasting you if you allow it. If you allow him to roast you, you know, he'll take it. He'll take it. But down there in the comments, you can give your opinion. If you guys have seen, positive things from complaining about women, let me know what came out of that. If it didn't work, what actually did work for you? Blind Bat says over here, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Well, if your approach doesn't change, then your results won't either. And if you're expecting that, then you're insane by the dictionary definition of insane. Anything you want to add on the subject, Mrs. Eva?
I don't. Just that we love him very, very much.
Yeah, that's my bro.
Very much.
Yep, that's my bro. And one of the things that really grew my respect for him is I let him know, I was like, listen, a lot of dudes are not gonna want to hear criticism about nothing. But I hit you up and I'm like, yo, this is not the vibe you want to put out there. This is not what you want the public to consume when they think of you. And he took that shit in stride, and he thanked me for setting him on a path that is going to improve his lot in life. I told him, I said, listen, that chick, that's not the word I use, but that chick, she is going to be the most difficult person you will ever have to deal with in your life, bar none. And if you can learn to control your emotions and control your expressions of emotions, nobody can defeat you. Like nobody. Nobody can touch you. And a lot of us men have to look at things that way. We got to look at things that way. There are going to be a lot of things working against us. But if you could take the most difficult thing in your life and then master your perception of reality concerning it, ain't nothing can really fuck with you, because any obstacle has a solution, and you're gonna find it. If you don't find it today, you'll find it tomorrow. All right. So we talked a little bit about Angela Hill. So we'll talk a little MMA. Did you get that link that I sent you for Dana White's comments concerning the decision, the Angela Hill decision?
Yeah, but I didn't read it through. But I got your link.
Yeah.
But it's basically him saying that it's absolute bullshit.
Yeah. And the thing is, we keep seeing this with Angela Hill time and time again, where she's constantly getting screwed over by these incompetent judges. You know, like if two judges would have said 29-28 against Angela Hill, I would have said, I don't agree, but I could see how you got there. But one of these fucking judges said 30-27 for her opponent, who she physically dominated in rounds 2 and 3. She physically dominated a woman who was bigger and physically stronger than her. I think that's fucked up. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Derek Lewis's victory. You got anything on that?
I'm glad he won this one. I didn't like his previous fight where he looked out of it, not focused, not his normal self. Was that the fight before this?
Yeah, that was Cyril Gahn.
Yeah, he just looked off, very off. This one was much better, more at ease, more of that confident, but I kind of don't give a fuck attitude. Much better.
He did say that. He said that there was a lot of pressure going into that fight, fighting in Houston, his hometown, fighting for the interim belt. But I have to give him some tough love. We love Derek Lewis, all right? If I can just go straight, right? I got to give a little bit of tough love to Derek Lewis here, okay? Derek, you got outskilled. You know what I mean? Like, he fought you very similar to the way that Israel Adesanya likes to fight. The way that John Jones likes to fight. Okay? Derek Lewis had a massive speed disadvantage against Cyril Gahn. There is also a skill gap, a massive skill gap between him and Cyril Gahn. So if you're losing in speed and you're losing in skill, unless you land that big punch, you are losing the fight. Oh, that's a motorcycle there. I don't know why that's there, but whatever. So I thought that, Cyril Gahn implemented his game plan as intended. And, he was able to neutralize Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is the type of guy that is always going to look for that one shot that puts his opponent out. That's what he's looking for. And if you got a guy that's picking you apart and then he's attacking you with the leg kicks, you're only going to be able to take a certain amount of leg kicks. And the amount of leg kicks that you're going to be able to absorb goes down in weight class. The heavier the weight class you're in, the less amount of leg kicks you'll be able to absorb before uh, you're no longer able to continue fighting. So, see, I turned down the screaming. Okay, okay. Are you gonna go do your thing? Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah. So he said sometimes it's better to rent it than to buy it. But it's funny that you would mention that. Um, it's funny that you would mention that. Um, um, a lot of people are wondering why men are not interested in marriage, and a lot of guys are looking at it like, yo, uh, it's safer to just rent rather than buy. And that's kind of like how I look at these cars too, which is why I always lease them and never buy them. All right. Uh, but yeah, fun weekend of fights. What else is going on out there? The Rona is out there roning, y'all. The fuck? The Rona is out there. I was exposed to the Rona by a client, and I had to quarantine until I got some a negative test result. But it seems like Omicron is really out there spreading, where um, the positive cases are now doubling every 2 or 3 days. So, um, Omicron does not seem to be as severe as Delta or even as Alpha variant. But one of the reasons why I'm going to advocate that people at least um, 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 I I'm going to still recommend. I'm not going to recommend that people go out there and get booster shots. Not right now. Not at this point, because it's still a lot of data to collect, and I'm very wary of anyone telling me that the best way to live my life is to make them more wealthy. So, but I will say I do believe that uh, masking up. If you got to go out and be around people, mask up, y'all. Because even though Omicron does not appear to be, at least right now, it does not appear to be um, uh, a very severe, not a variant that causes severe disease. The issue with Omicron is that it runs the risks of jamming up the hospitals, because even though it's not as severe, it'll still be pretty severe in a significant amount of people. It'll be a very low percentage of the total positive tests, but it'll be um, Yeah, it'll be uh, enough people if they all test positive around the same time that that small number of people could overload the hospitals. So, do what you can to protect yourself. Try to protect your neighbors if you can. You know, get as much information as you can about this variant. Get as much information as you can about the vaccines, and try to make an informed decision, devoid of political talk. Do your best to do that because if nothing else, that shit will be an inconvenience to your life. Let me tell y'all, I had shit that I wanted to do this weekend. Yo, let me talk to Dark Nays right quick. Dark Nays, you're the man, yo. You're the man or you're the woman, whoever you are. They say double vaxxed, not eligible for a booster at the moment. So I keep Dr. Johns Campbell's advice and keep my vitamin D, vitamin K, zinc, and also vitamin C levels up. Dr. John Campbell has been putting out some really great content on YouTube. Let me tell y'all, this guy is based in the UK. He doesn't care about the politics. He's looking at all the studies, he's looking at all the statistics. Dr. John Campbell is not putting out any biased anything. He's just looking at the numbers, he's looking at the science, and he's telling you, yo, boost your immune system. Wear a mask. I mean, he didn't say anything about ivermectin, you know? He didn't say anything about any of that. Vitamin D is the most important thing. You know, um, I'm really hoping that common sense, whatever that is, will start to win out. That'll be cool, you know. But who knows? Who knows? This is the world that we're living in. No guarantees. But I really wish this Rona shit was over. I wanted to have my boy come over and hang out with me and my family. Couldn't do that. Um, I'm losing money because the person that exposed me was a client. They had to go quarantine for 10 days. That's like 4 sessions lost. You guys don't want to know how much money that is lost for me. I don't know, y'all. There's so much going on. Let's just do what we can to just try to get through this. We got to do this. Before I sign off, if anybody has anything that they want to bring up as a topic for discussion, I'm open to it. There's a lot of good content going on in the manosphere. I do want to make one. I do want to make kind of like one PSA. If none of you have anything else, and this is something that I have seen over the past month or two. And Kevin Samuels spoke on it during last night's live stream. I don't catch all of his live streams like I was before, but I caught last night's. Guys, you got to be aware of the chameleon. You know, the chameleon is the woman who will see what men in general are concerned with They'll get down all the talking points. They'll get down all the verbiage. They'll start speaking that lingo to get your attention, hold your attention long enough to extract resources from you. They'll talk that red pill shit to try to get you to turn back into a blue pill simp. We have seen the rise of women entering the manosphere, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that. As long as they keep that same energy and they steer women towards showing the proper respect for men and for themselves, I have no problem with it. But we got a couple of women that have come through and have made a lot of waves only to turn around using the same sign language: shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. The same fucking sign language. When you start to press a little further, you dig a little deeper to see what they really think about you. Then it's like, oh, now we know what you really think about us men. You were just trying to infiltrate into our communities to see where our weaknesses would be, to see the kind of women that we respond positively to, mimic, which is that chameleon action, mimic. You didn't take it into your soul and understand it and then resonate it. You're grabbing as much information as you can to get the short-term advantage, the short-term outcome that you think that you want. And then you reveal yourself. Guys, you can't give away attention just because the words you're hearing sound good. You have to dig. Find out what her history is. If she claims to be a changed woman, find out why she changed. Find out how long it took for her to change. Figure out, because nobody is able to hide who they really are and what their true intentions are for very long. A gold digger, let's talk about gold diggers for a second. A gold digger isn't this negative thing that they're made out to be. Gold diggers are just women that believe in hypergamy, which is the female of almost every species on planet fucking Earth, right? The real issue that I think men have with gold diggers are women that look at men as wallets, as walking bank accounts that they can just do cash withdrawals from, but never make a deposit, right? So we want to make sure that we're very clear on what a gold digger really is. A gold digger isn't a woman who is looking for a man that can take care of her. A gold digger is a woman that wants to extract resources while offering no value in return. She's there for herself and what she can do for her and her own selfish interest, and she is willing to do anything that she can to extract those resources while offering as little value as possible. Okay? So we want to be very, very clear on the kind of connotation that we're thinking of when we use terminations like that, right? So most people see it as the last definition, the person that is looking to extract as many resources from you while offering as little in return in terms of value, right? But these are just called bad people. But we need to kind of, make sure that we understand exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about gold diggers, okay? Now, it's important to understand that that latter definition is more in the spirit of what I'm talking about. She'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear. You know, she'll tell you that your dick is big, but you've got a micro penis, right? She's, you know, you know, you're hitting it from the back. Your dick didn't reach the pussy because her ass is too fat and your dick is too small, but she's moaning like, you're Big Dick Johnson, right? She is looking to do anything she can do to extract the resource, right? And you've got versions of those women that have entered the manosphere. They're not here for your best interest. They're there for their best interest, which is getting the bag. See, I think women have noticed that guys are not approaching them in public anymore. Guys are not looking to go on dates. Guys are not proposing, right? Guys understand that marriage is really just betting half your lifetime assets, that she's not going to leave you for another man or another woman. That's pretty much how men see marriage these days. And a lot of guys are doing, a lot less complaining about the situation and just going their own way, which I think, isn't great for society. But if you don't have trust in what's out there, you'd be a fool to get into something with somebody. So understand that some of these women might be watching mediocre tutorials and reviews. They could be watching Shade Duke Jackson. They could be watching 21 Convention. They could be um, watching those frauds over there in Miami. They could be watching the lead attorney. They could be watching Minister Jap. And what they're doing is that they're absorbing the information so that they can learn how to talk to you to get you to turn back into a patsy. Those are the type of women that don't respect men. They don't see men as human beings. They see men as marks, as targets. So I just want you guys to just be aware. Don't fall in love with the first chick that says that she understands what men are going through. You're going to have to make sure that she shows that she understands that with her behavior consistently. Don't take a chick out and because she paid for half of the first date think that she's the one. Nah. Women put us through a lot of shit tests to prove over and over again that we're worth their time or what have you. Well, it's going to be incumbent upon you men as well to make sure that you are watching her every move and you let nothing slide. And if she's talking a good game, but still looking to extract resources out of you without offering value in return, ignore her words and get her the fuck up out of there. You see, the feminists are right when they say that women do not owe us men access to their bodies. They're 1,000,000% correct. She doesn't owe you a motherfucking thing. What they don't agree with is that it works in the opposite direction. You don't owe any woman your time or attention. You don't owe her your resources unless you put a baby in her. So if you recognize this woman as talking the talk but not walking the walk, you are free to get up and leave. Or if she's showing these behaviors in your house, you are free to tell her to please exit the premises and do not return. You see, it's not about complaining about what she's doing. It's about taking action to solve the problem. If a woman that you're interested in presents more problems than solutions, nobody wants to hear you cry about it. But we will accept you getting her the fuck up out of there. Find solutions to your issues, gentlemen. And the more that we defend our boundaries, the more women will respect us. So even if you really like her, you might be gaining her respect for a lifetime if you can let her go today, to let her know that you don't see her as more important than you. Because a woman may say that she wants a guy that treats her like a queen and props her up, but no woman is attracted to that. She'll take advantage of it, but she's not attracted to it. She'll take your resources to give her access to the man that makes her moist. And a man that puts a woman above him, she's not interested. You see a chameleon, you get her away from you. She talks to talk, and she fails enough times to extract resources from you. She's going to have to either be alone, or she's going to have to actually provide value to your life beyond vagina and titties. And if she's really freaky, that ass. Anyway, been nice hanging out with you guys for a while. Hopefully we will bring you a full TSP very soon. Again, if you guys have not followed us on Twitch, what you doing? It's right there on the screen. TALKIN_SH_T. On YouTube, we've got this we've got this bit.ly link if you want to subscribe on YouTube, bit.ly/TALKIN_SHT. You have to type it that way. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a dead link. All right. If you're not already subscribed, and we've got Godfried. How you doing? You showed up late. We up out of here. But I want to let you guys know that you're going to get support here. So let's grow this community. Definitely subscribe on YouTube. Definitely follow us on Twitter. And more importantly, Twitch. And we will see you for TSP 32 later on this week. We've got a couple of topics that we're going to broach. Namely one that I found out from the lead attorney. Shout out to the lead attorney. Where a young inexperienced trucker was just recently sentenced to 110 years in prison for basically being a hostage in a runaway truck because he lost brake function and then slammed into the back of some cars in rush hour traffic in Colorado. So we're going to be talking about that on TSP later this week. And until then, protect yourself, gentlemen. Treat yourself and the women in your life with the proper respect. No more, no less. See you on the next one.